find a primary source article on slavery in the 1820s in America. Let's see, I'll Google it. Wow, that's a lot of articles. I wonder what they did for internet.
I heard that it was not that easy. Google and did periodical indexing.
Well, it says here, American librarian, scholar William Frederick Poole effectively invented periodical indexing.
That must have been revolutionary.
I'm Kate Sams.
I'm Michaela Campbell.
I'm Sierra Black.
And I'm Jose Morales, and this is
William Frederick Poole and the Indexing Revolution.
It is 1842. Young William Frederick Poole is now a freshman at Yale College. Poole was older than most students of his class because he was the son of a working-class family and had dropped out of school at age 12 and went to work. Like most young men in his class, Poole worked as a driver for a tanner on his family's farm and as a joiner.
Mother started urging me to go back to school. I worried that I would not do well, that I'd be much older than the other students. But still, I was only 16. So I went to school for 3 years. It was hard, but I liked it so much. At age 20, I enrolled at Yale College. I did well my first year, but had no money to continue school. I worked for 3 years saving so I could re-enter school. At age 24, I was able to enter school, but I needed work.
So, Mr. Poole, you need work.
Yes, I'm open to any kind of work.
We do have a position as assistant librarian at a student society at the Brothers in Union.
I'll take it.
Yale had no organized athletics, so students competed in forensic exercises such as oratory and debate. Educated men had to be able to speak in public to be able to be seen as leaders in the pulpits and the government.
Wednesday evening, students had heated debates on topics such as, was slavery wrong? Would the nation ever be totally free? And what should be done with the new Texas Republic? Topics were announced and students were on their way to finding information.
During Poole's first year, librarian John Edmonds published a short 8-page pamphlet listing some sources for debate titled Subjects for Debate with Reference to Authorities.
My main job was to provide help in finding materials for debate. We librarians continue keeping a file of magazines and the topics they dealt with.
Mr. Poole, I do have a debate topic for tonight. It is, had Napoleon exiled the state had lived just? I need articles to prove that it had been just, and I need them very.
Okay, give me a minute. What's here? This is not anywhere. This is so frustrating. I absolutely must organize these magazine articles by subject into an index. This ought to be done.
You're so right, Mr. Poole. Even with the help of librarians such as yourself, we students spend hours going through books and magazines looking for our desired information. Most times we're wrong.
I know, we spend so much time carrying the periodicals from the shelves to the tables and back to the shelves. They haven't been used, just perused.
And the library is only open for half an hour each day. Most of the time we students go away very angry and disappointed that we did not get our desired information.
The periodical publications, which sets of periodical publications with which the library is well supplied with, is not being used, although they are rich in the treatment of the subject, which inquiries are made in vain every day.
So Poole determined to fix this problem. The sheer number of magazines are an issue. Between 1825 and 1850, between 4,000 and 5,000 magazines were started, but only 600 survived.
Periodical publications have been advancing in merit unit. They have come in our day to stand in the front rank of modern literature, sometimes more useful to a student than the first treatise.
Poole's first attempt at indexing was a small 200 periodical index.
It's crude and feeble on the bibliographical side.
But this is all we have right now. If only there was another copy. This is going to wear out.
Soon the decision to print had been made, and Poole then set out to expand and correct his manuscript. He then tripled the size of his original index. By July of 1848, the next edition was ready for printing. It was exhausting work and was taking over Poole's life.
Mr. Poole, the index is so complete. It has made researching exciting.
I'm afraid that I spent so much time on the index that my grades have suffered.
But you still do have a high rank, and we students did vote for you in the Alpha Delta Pi as our way of showing you how much we appreciate your work for our cause.
One of the Latin professors composed a motto in Latin for Poole. He who knows where knowledge dwells has it within his reach. He put this on the title page of every edition. This was a milestone, a revolution for research. It was a new and unique instrument for bibliographical control.
In fact, his index started the bibliographical form,
which became one of the major cornerstones in library history. Which became one of those?
had problems. I left the notes of the next edition on a buggy, and when I remembered it, they were nowhere to be found. Still, I worked on.
By 1851, Poole had the next edition nearly finished when he got a job as assistant librarian at the Boston Indian Library. It was one of the best libraries in the country, and the patrons really appreciated his index.
It was during this time that I decided to be a librarian, get a job, get married, and 4 years later, finish the next edition of the index. I was very busy, and I worried that I did not give my family enough time.
So, Mr. Poole, I hear Halsey Wilson is planning to start his own index, drag your index out of the field.
That's what I've heard.
But he won't succeed. Just look what the New York Times said about the new index. It really is an important book. And we cannot imagine how we've managed to do without it. It is one of the indispensables of student life, a contribution to literature like an almanac, a dictionary, or a concordance. Mr. Poole's name can never be pronounced without respect.
But is it selling well? It's so expensive.
It was expensive, and he never got the money he deserved. He worked at a new library, working on cataloging books and managing the library. But he had not forgotten about the index. In 1863, he announced he would be starting a new index, but it didn't happen.
Finally, in 1879, Poole was approached by the North American Library Association and persuaded to start a new index with the help of William Fletcher, librarian of the Amherst College, and with the assistance of the North American and the UK Library Association.
By March 1883, Poole's index was ready Poole's index was on review in Chambers Journal, March 1883. It was described as follows: a book which will henceforth be indispensable to every reference library and save a world of trouble to editors and journalists in hunting up what has already been written down on specific subjects. Such a work is a splendid testimony to the immense literary activity of the past 80 years and affords quite a key to an encyclopedia of knowledge.
I was very busy to work with the index. I finally had no time for it.
Fletcher took over, assisted by one of Poole's daughters.
Then, in 1884, Poole died, and Wilson had, indeed, started his own index called The Reader's Guide to Periodical Literature. It covered over 479,000 articles, 369,000 subjects, and 12,261 volumes of 479 British and UK and North American periodicals.
But Poole's index to periodical literature was a revolution.
The public's reaction was one of gratitude. It made Poole a bibliographical hero.
The reformed Wilson's Reader's Guide, which was much user-friendly. We couldn't have prepared for a history fair without all the new indexes. And of course, another copycat, Google.
Poole's index is still used by researchers today. It's even online. We could not have prepared for history fair without it.
Thank you.